Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's Friday, December 9th at 12:08. I want to reconvene City Council meeting / City Council successor agency to the Westminster Redevelopment Agency meeting. A roll call, please, Lucy.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Vice Mayor Manzo. Just a moment, we briefly lost our connection here. We'll be on. Okay, we're back on. Sorry about that. Technology is a blessing and a curse sometimes, so I apologize. Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Manzo.
I'm here.
Councilmember Doe.
I'm here.
Councilmember Ho.
I'm here.
And Councilmember Nguyen.
Sorry, I have to unmute. I'm here.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we have salute to the flag, Councilmember Taido.
Young Free Rice, handle your heart. Really begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Doe. Next, we have any city attorney reports. City attorney. No, city, I'm assuming, can you hear me?
I'm here, but I was locked out here.
Okay.
I think I got unlocked. Let me turn on the video won't go on, but I have no reports. There's no report at this time.
All right, thank you. Any ex parte communications from council members? Nope. City clerk report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We just have one quick report. Staff respectfully requests that agenda item number 6.1 be pulled from the agenda at this time for additional research and staff time. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, we can do that a little bit later. Next, we have a city manager report.
Just really briefly, we have our Santa pop-ups, pop-up events this weekend. So our first round, we have one tonight at Sigler Park from 6 to 7 p.m. Again, that's over at Sigler Park. And then tomorrow we have Bolsa Chica Park from 12:30 to 1:30. And that's our Santa on the Go event. So free photos with Santa, etc. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. We don't have any special presentations to this afternoon. And that moves us to oral communication. Lucy, can you read the procedures, please?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is a time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items specifically on the agenda, since this is a special meeting. We can do so by raising your hand and unmuting yourself when your name is called. Currently, we do have a few people who wish to speak at this time. The first speaker is Camila Overbeek. Please unmute yourself and you may begin.
Can you hear me, Lucy? Lucy?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, Council. How nice of you all to gather to celebrate my birthday today. I was a little sad that there wasn't a proclamation or a resolution declaring December 9th the city holiday in honor of my special day. But alas, there's always next year, right? Item 3.5, grocery gift card purchase. I'm really happy to see the city giving back to our most vulnerable community members. That said, I do hope that someone will pull this item and discussion can be had about allocating these gift cards equally across the 4 districts to give community members across the city an opportunity to participate. And only after all districts have been served and given an equal opportunity to participate, open the remaining cards up to the city at large. The goal is to help all in need, not just those who get the information first. As for item 5.2, I still firmly believe that for the city to put on the Tet Parade is financially irresponsible and quite frankly mocks the community members who worked tirelessly to pass Measure Y so we could just keep the lights on. The community and voters didn't pass to give you a blank check to spend on luxuries. The city is buying Prada on an Old Navy budget. Furthermore, the lack of information on the staff report from November 30th to holding this special meeting now to request a date change shows just how little thought and effort went into this whole concept. While I'm certain mine and other community members' concerns will go unrecognized by this council, I do hope that moving forward, this council and staff really looks at and considers need versus want. Furthermore, is the city going to implement COVID protocol for the parade? Contrary to Kimberly Ho's declaration that COVID is over, it isn't. And in fact, cases are up across the county. Additionally, just 2 weeks ago, the Board of Supervisors had to declare an emergency to help chalk at St. Joseph's Hospital due to the influx of pediatric patients diagnosed with RSV. Hospitals that don't normally service pediatric patients are now having to convert rooms to help out. As a city, are we really being responsible by hosting a parade and putting people's lives in danger, especially children? I do hope that this council will consider all of these factors as parade planning inevitably carries on. I'm certain that my words have fallen on a majority of deaf ears, but I hope at least one of you will ask the hard, pressing, and important questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker with her hand raised is Amy Walsh. Please unmute yourself and you may begin speaking.
Did it unmute? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay,
Please.
just making sure. So I'd like to second, man, just one time I'd like to go first. I'd like to second what Camilla said in regards to, basically everything. Thanks, Camilla. I wanted to make sure that someone pulls 3.5 because the fact that we have a council member, Charlie Nguyen, come on, Charlie, who decided that he was going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag and make it so that only one area of Westminster got that information first in regards to getting the credit or the gift cards. I mean, come on. Let the city do their job, Charlie. And I'd like someone to make sure that this round of cards can be distributed evenly, because that's just, pardon my French, but it's bullshit. What is it? Charlie always says it's the craps. I'd like to talk about the Tet Parade as well. I am just disgusted with the fact that, you know, we just passed this measure and the first thing we do, oh, here's 150 grand, let's throw a parade. Come on. My God, like Camilla said, there's no one's going to listen to anything the public says because the majority of this council does whatever they want because they can do whatever they want. And no one ever gets held accountable. I mean, it's a joke at this point. It's ridiculous. Christian, I beg of you, there's things that go on in these meetings that I know you can step in and say something. Please do that more, please. That's all.
The next speaker with her hand raised is Westminster Watchdog. Please unmute yourself and you may begin.
Hello, Terry Rains, Westminster Watchdog. Why is this meeting on a Friday in the middle of a workday? City Hall is closed and people are working. As I pointed out to staff, the agenda's public comment instructions do not apply to special meetings. Written comments should be accepted until the meeting starts and be read into the record in full because of no in-person access. Council, please pull item 3.5 from the consent calendar for discussion regarding the grocery assistance program. Councilman Nguyen, Mayor-elect Nguyen, you first went live on the Vietnamese media on November 11th, just 2 days after the November 9th council meeting, promoting this program as a Christmas holiday New Year gift to your viewers. You do know it's illegal to give public funds, right? This is not the Charlie Nguyen show. This is a city program funded by federal ARPA funds. Your irresponsible actions led to utter chaos at City Hall and put an unnecessary burden on city staff. Let me remind you how council manager government works. The council is a legislative body, sets policy, and the city manager and her staff implement that policy, period. You gave out a non-city telephone number for viewers to call to learn about the program. Staff hadn't yet worked out the details, identified a card vendor, or purchased any cards yet. Last Friday, you promoted it again, even offering to help your viewers complete their applications if they called that same phone number. So on Monday, there was a line wrapped around City Hall, and the initial 950 cards were gone before the general public, the non-Vietnamese speaking public, that is, even knew about the program. Priority was supposed to be given to seniors and veterans registered with our senior center. Charlie, remember, only 40% of the population is Vietnamese, 60% is not. You rewarded those who voted for you at the expense of all other seniors and veterans and showed total disrespect for city staff. It's craps. Better not pull stunts like this as mayor or there will be hell to pay. You can bank on that. Not happy with item 5.1, $800,000 budget increase for legal expenses due to so many employee lawsuits going on right now, but if that's what it takes to resolve them, so be it. Item 5.2 is proposing the 2023 TEP parade be held on the January 28th, not the 21st, because local merchants objected to the 21st. The staff report still has no entry fee or sponsorship details and no cost benefit analysis. The TEP parade should be held during the official TEP holiday period, which is from the 21st to the 26th this year. Going back 10 years, the parade has never been held so long after the actual holiday as the 28th would be, except in 2017. It's if not the 21st, how about the actual holiday, Sunday the 22nd? Sundays are when most local Vietnamese events take place anyway. I know there are concerns about costs since overtime cost goes to double time for some city employees on Sundays, but there is no detail in the staff report, so who knows? The merchants complain about blocked access to their businesses for the parade, but they sure don't complain about the huge influx of customers the parade brings to their businesses before and after. FYI, the city cannot discriminate against anyone wishing to participate, including LGBT groups or even those wishing to display the official red with yellow star flag of Communist Vietnam. I hope the city is prepared for any protests that might break out. Think high-tech 1999. I don't have time to cover the problems with item 6.1, commission board and committee amendments. Glad it was pulled. It went from bad to worse. There are no red line documents attached to the staff report. Most issues I raised on November 9th have not been resolved. The staff report and attachments are fraught with errors, contradictions, and improper use of terms. Too many inconsistencies in the nomination, appointment, and removal of members by individual council members versus the council body and related language. The new general rules section just made things worse. Laws, policies cannot be vague, inconsistent, and conflicting, but these are. Item 6.2 is the declaration of the election results. Councilman Nguyen won the mayor race with 7,655 votes, 33%, but more than double that number, 15,613, 67% did not vote for him. Amy Phan West won District 1 by just 21 votes. Nam Quan Nguyen won District 4 with 2,433 votes, 44%, but 3,101 votes, 56% did not vote for him. So these quote unquote winners had a sizable majority that did not vote for them. So let that sink in. A large number of Westminster voters that voted did not vote for our local races. For mayor, 2,373 voters, 9.3% left that race blank. For District 1, 1,106 voters, 14.8% left that race blank. And for District 4, 812 voters, 12.8% left that race blank. Add these blank votes to the votes against the quote unquote winners above, and you'll see a sizable majority of voters did not vote for these quote unquote winners. The new council members are hardcore election deniers. How can they accept elected positions if they do not believe in our election system? Tell you what, there'll be more on that when these extremists are sworn in on the 14th. What a shit show that'll be. Stay tuned. Thank you.
If anyone else wishes to speak, this would be the time to please raise your hand. Vice Mayor, there is no one else raising their hand. That concludes oral communications at this time.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. This time, next we have our consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the city council or staff that request that specific item be removed from the consent calendar for separate action or discussion.
I'd like to pull agenda 3.5.
I move to approve the rest of them except for 3.5.
Second that. You have a motion and a second on the floor for to approve all the remainder of the routine calendar items except 3.5. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And that motion was made by Councilmember Nguyen and seconded by Vice Mayor Manzo. Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Manzo.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, next we have item 3.5. Authorize a purchase order to Perfect Gift Card Corporation for the purchase of Visa gift cards for grocery assistance program for fiscal year 2022 to 2023. We have a staff report on this.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. I am requesting a permission to issue a purchase order in the amount of $220,000 to Perfect Gifts, which is a vendor that provides bulk gift cards directly for like Visa, MasterCard. They do this frequently. They are the vendor that those companies use. And upon advice from the city attorney to be in compliance with our purchasing policy, it was needed to bring back to your back to a meeting for approval.
This is approval just to be able to make that one lump purchase from the same vendor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Any questions from council to staff?
I know we had approved for a total of $320,000. But you know what? I have a problem with the process. I really think that we need to put this on hold until we clearly define the process. This to me is a very unfair process. And what is this with Councilmember Chi Charlie giving this as a holiday gift to his constituents? It is illegal, as said, and I agree with that. I just think a lot of people, the general public did not know about this program. I think it's like one council member advertising and a bunch of his friends or donors or basically they got the heads up somehow, and pretty much what I heard, which is full of complaints, those gift cards went just within 2 days they were gone. Is that correct, staff? How many days? Could you confirm that?
Yes, it was about 2.5 days. It was Thursday, I think December 1st, Friday, December 2nd half day when the senior center was and the FRC were open, and then Monday, December 5th. And that we exhausted our supply on Monday, December 5th.
Okay, can you tell me what is your process right now? I mean, who are you giving to, and how do you identify them?
Well, they are coming to us with a form. We had to create a form in multiple languages that has their detail, their name, their address, their birthday. They come to us with that. We verify their identity with an ID, driver's license, or some sort of ID, so we can verify that that's who is coming. And then we verify the receipts that they are totaling over $100 from grocery stores or a store like a Target, a Walmart, a Costco that sells groceries that is in Westminster and that's over $100. We verify that, we enter it into a spreadsheet to make sure we aren't duplicating people, so they're only getting one. And then we indicate which gift card they're getting, and then they're issued the gift card. So basically they're coming in, lining up, and we're doing this one-on-one with each of the people who are showing up.
So this time around, I mean, I think I heard earlier a comment or a suggestion on that we should distribute equally among the districts. So right now, do you know if these are all from certain district or certain radio station or certain program, or I don't know?
I don't know. I do have everyone's address, so it's possible to plot that out somehow. We would need some assistance with that. We didn't verify address versus district and indicate that. It's something we could probably pull from the data that we have.
I'm thinking that, you know what, I knew this is going to be, there's going to be some kind of bias, some kind of chaos, you know, from how we approve the program. And really, it is really intended to help those in need, you know, with groceries. So I think we're giving them to those that are not necessarily in need, correct? It's not need-based, correct? Because you're not asking for income or anything like that, correct?
That was not part of the requirements.
So and then that's the ridiculousness that I see in this program, but being that it's already approved, and I think it's only fair that we distribute equally to each district. So if we were to say, let's say another 100,000, it'll be, you know, 25,000 for each district. And then that district is done. Is that fair? I mean, I find that if there are no complaints, I wouldn't be, you know, stopping it here or recommending it done this way. But this is the problem: is you know, you're going to have a bunch of one person's friends showing up, and then in 2 days, like, this is not something that I'm dreaming up. It actually happened, and I actually got complaints. And the person who you know, a group of people who complain are not Chi Charlie's people. So, I mean, what do I make of this? So could we at least do that to show some fairness, at least, you know, distribute it a quarter for each. So which means 25,000 for each district. And then after that's gone, for that particular district, to be fair. I think that's a lot fairer.
I'd like to voice my opinions.
May I just continue? Just really quickly. Thank you. I just want to say, as a matter of fact, right now, I just think that everything was done in such a rush. So I would recommend that we put all the applications, put this program on hold and reevaluate. And really, I think we need to reevaluate and resume when we're ready. But I really don't think this is not fair. I'm not getting this money. None of my family or you know, circle of friends are getting any of this money. So I'm telling you that I'm doing this and trying really hard to, you know, be fair to everyone, and especially the ones in need. So could we just put it on hold and reevaluate this program? So if we could just stop from taking any more applications at this time, that's what I wish to do. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I don't appreciate that you are trying to accuse me. It's a strong accusation that telling me that I am, you know, trying to promote this for my constituent. Who is my constituent? I don't even know who they are. They are the voters. Whoever vote, you know, they can vote for you, they can vote for me. This program was approved by the council. And by approving that, that means that it's out to the public. And so I know city staff have press release out there for the whole, community, and whoever get the chance or had the means to publicize this event should do so. And for you, if you have your programs, please do so, because people need to know about it. After all, we need to advertise this program to all people in the city of Westminster. And doesn't matter what mean that you have to do, then do it. So same thing for me. When I have my program, I have to publicize the event, the program that you approve. That's all I did. What did I do wrong? If you don't do, you try. If you decide not to publicize this event, it's your discretion. But for me, as a news reporter or a community, I will announce it when I have a chance. If I have a Spanish program, I will do it. If I have a chance to do, to come up any program, I will do it. And I know staff have done this to, through the press release, to the website, through all all means that they have. And there's no way that you can accuse me for doing this for my people. And you said G Charlie people. Who are G Charlie people? Did I go out and go and stand out there and then say, hey, my people, come here and sign up for this? I went on air and tell that to everybody. Is that my people or your people included in there? So please, we try to work together. Please, not trying to accuse people for the things that they don't do. And staff, can I ask you what did you have done in order to publicize this event?
So unfortunately, we didn't get a press release out because we just weren't quite ready, but our senior center staff reached out directly to all of our regular members. So any seniors that visit the senior center, they knew of the program. So we made sure that they had the form, that we could work one-on-one with them. They went above and beyond, honestly, to make sure that our regular seniors know that was available to them. It was up on the front page of our website, and the cards, they went quickly. They went very quickly.
Anybody else? Questions? Councilmember Doe?
I think this issue need to move to the new council to make a decision. Right now, at this point, I don't think we should address this issue. I think it's of course, we all. I haven't heard lately. I haven't been following the what Councilman Nguyen saying on the Vietnamese media, so I'm not sure what direction we're going to go. But we all know manipulation of the Vietnamese language is always a huge issue for this community. So I would not be surprised if there's a lot of propaganda saying, "Hey, this is my program, this is my people, and it's a gift for the community, especially during the Christmas holiday." So I think this issue needs to be addressed by a new council next meeting next week.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Doe. I have a couple questions for staff. So you said that you hadn't really done a press release yet, correct? I mean, I see it on at this point. You haven't done one at all, or what's the answer?
No, one has not been generated to my knowledge. Those usually come through the city manager's office.
Okay, thank you. So the question is, and how, I guess this is first step. Why would a council member go out kind of ahead of the city, jump ahead of the city and announce it when city hasn't announced it or to the general public? And we don't know if we were ready. If you said you hadn't purchased them at a certain point. So it seems like, from what I gather, and I did hear some complaints from some community members who asked me about this program, and I said, and I told them about it, but nobody didn't know about it. So it sounds to me like Councilmember Nguyen, I made an announcement before the city. Is that correct?
That is not true. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's not true.
When did you?
I communicate with the staff and I ask, for the update of this program, and you can do so, and any council member can do so because we already approved on that. I just want to follow up to make sure that, where are we at this point? And when I did receive a formal approval and the decision from the staff that moving forward, that's after I got that information. Then I have enough information to go on air whenever I have a chance, because I'm doing the news. This you can't stop me from reporting the news, and this is actually approval already, and it's already, I already have confirmation from staff that this is already out.
Okay, but the question was, so it sounds to me, since staff had not done a formal announcement, it sounds like you made an announcement prior to staff make an announcement to all the city. And it sounds like that you had made an announcement in only Vietnamese language media. So that means that only those folks who have access to that media that you participate in.
And that is not true.
Would know about this.
And that is not true again, Vice Mayor.
So,
It is like.
Okay, thank you. I
Okay.
have one more question for staff. So Vanessa.
Well, no. You
Monday
Vice
when,
Mayor, you just said that. Then let me respond to you. That was not true again, because I did the announcement after staff already announced this program out there.
that's my question. My question is, Vanessa.
They didn't do the press release. That doesn't mean that they was not, out there announcing this to the public.
Vanessa, on Monday, you said you had quite a good amount of folks showed up on Monday. Had you already announced it to the general public at that time?
I did put it on the website. I think it was on December 1st. It was after the Mendez event. I was able to get it up on the website because we were getting influx of people and we had finally got the application form in multiple languages. So that was what I could get done in the time.
So so only folks who were out looking for it would know to go to the website. They would know, but not. It wasn't a formal announcement, on social media or any TV. You put it on the government channel TV. Nothing like that was ever done.
No, and we did have conversations, like I said, with our senior center or regular visitors that were there since the program was approved at the council meeting, I think on November 9th. We did have some conversations and let our seniors know that this was coming. When the form was ready, we handed those out to those seniors that are in the senior center, and through the FRC, those clients that may have multiple generational households, they were made aware of the program, but that was what we got to in that time frame.
Do we have a city phone number that folks in multiple languages that folks can call to request information?
The phone numbers out are usually ours, and depending on the time of someone calling, we may have someone.
Sorry about that.
Depending on what time someone calls, we may have a Vietnamese speaker, we may have a Spanish speaker. If we don't at the moment, we try to get someone to help us out. Senior Center does not have a Vietnamese speaker, and depending on the time at that Family Resource Center, languages are available, but it depends on who's working at the time.
Okay, but we have a phone number that's city. It's a city phone number, correct?
There's not a centralized number. It's like the Family Resource Center, Community Services, and the Senior Center.
Okay, but my question is, somebody mentioned that there was a separate phone number given out that wasn't a city-run phone number that they would help with this process. Is that something that can legally be done? Or, is that normal for somebody to give out a number that's not being ran by the city to help folks out? Is that something that can be done? I don't know. that would
I'm
be-
not aware of another phone number. No, we didn't hear anything about a phone number or anything like that. So I'm,
Okay.
yeah.
Somebody said, I don't know who was that mentioned that earlier, that there was another phone number given out where folks can get information about it. That's not city-run phone number. So I don't know if that was Councilmember Ho said it or a caller said that. Yeah, I think this is, there's needs to be some more research done by staff to be able to handle this situation and disperse it in a manner that's really gonna do what it was intended to do, was to help those in need.
You want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, so we need to do that. We need to have staff put their heads together, come back and get us a game plan of what is the best way to distribute this evenly and fairly across the board. So there's no way of only targeting a selected group can get this information. So my motion is to have staff come back with a plan that is going to really target and help all those in need and do what it was intended to do. So bring it back at a later time with the plan. That's my motion.
Second.
One comment, I just note in the staff report that there's currently at least a deadline that the submissions must be received by no later than January 5th, and that the purchases are supposed to be made between November 21st to December 31st. So you may have to move those dates, I guess would be what I'd say. That could be considered at a later time, but
Yes,
that's the current program.
Yeah, thank you. I think the goal is to help folks. I mean, if people need money now, they're going to need money in January, February, March. So I think that time, it doesn't. I mean, they need the money. They need the money. It doesn't matter what time of what month of the year it is. So I think that we can adjust that at a later time. So, right. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Lucy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That motion was made by Vice Mayor Monzo, seconded by Councilmember Doe, and that is to provide direction that staff provide a process and a plan that is to come back to the City Council. Councilmember Doe? Councilmember Doe?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Councilmember Ho? Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes, but before I say yes, I like to make sure that you guys, the city didn't put out the press release, but they put on the website all the information. They announced it already. That means it's officially for anyone to publicize the program that we had. It is out there. So if you choose not to do, it's your discretion. But it's not. It's supposedly it's our job to advertise this event along with the staff. So I have done nothing wrong, and I would say, I am not going to take any accusation from any council member of this. So my vote is yes. Let me ask you again. The motion is to delay this until later time, right? Is that
Correct.
okay? Then my vote is no.
I don't want to just let that kind of hang. I mean, Councilmember Nguyen, seems to me that we're always, you keep everybody on their toes as far as watching what you do and don't do. I mean, you don't have to hear from us. If it was right or wrong, and only you have to look yourself in the mirror and know the truth. So it seems to me that you know it was wrong. I'm sure you didn't make this announcement in Spanish. You didn't make this announcement in English, so that make sure that everybody equally. I mean, you do speak English. I mean, you could have at least done that. So to try to be as fair as possible, and we're elected officials. You are going to be the new head of this city as far as on the council. And I think we got to strive and work together. And I'm here to work with you, and I'm here to work with everybody to make sure that we represent all our city as a whole together, united as a council and united as a city. So I'm not here to pick a fight with anybody. I just want us to do the right thing for everybody. That's all.
Yeah. I appreciate that what you just said, but to me, if you say that I know this is wrong, this is not wrong at all. And what I did, I know is the right thing to do. All I do is to publicize this event. What's wrong with that? You have no right to stop me from publicizing the event that you approve the program already. I mean, so
like I said,
Move on. Can we move on?
I respect you. So please
Stop this back and forth.
all right, thank you.
We need to finish the vote.
My vote is yes. So thank you.
Motion carries 3 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, we move on to regular business. I think there was a city attorney, there was a request from staff to pull item 6.1. So I think at this time is a good time to do that, correct?
Yes, it can just be withdrawn from the agenda. I mean, if you want to vote on that, we can.
Yeah, I'll
But
make a
staff wanted to pull it to make further changes.
okay, I'll make a motion to pull item 6.1 from today's agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Thank you. That motion was to pull agenda item 6.1. The motion was made by Vice Mayor Monzo, seconded by Councilmember Nguyen. Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho?
Yeah.
And Vice Mayor Monzo.
Yes.
And I'm sorry.
You miss me.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Next, we have item 5.1, budget adjustment of liability administration of funds for fiscal year 2022 through 2023.
I move to approve.
I second.
And we got a motion in a second.
That motion was made by Councilmember Doe, seconded by Councilmember Ho, and that is for approval of a budget increase of $800,000 for legal expenses from the Liability Administration Fund 750 into account number 14335-43000, Public Liability Administration Program legal fees for the remainder of fiscal year 2022-2023. Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Monzo.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0.
thank you. And next, we have item 5.2, proposed date change for the Westminster 2023 TEP Parade. Staff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of City Council, everyone out there watching today. So when the TEP Parade was approved on a very late night at the last council meeting, the date was for January 21st, which happens to be the eve of the Lunar New Year. And one of the challenges that we've had in working with the private organizers in the past is that it creates impacts to, the businesses regardless of what day you have it. And so in kind of evaluating Lunar New Year Eve as being a very busy shopping day, probably one of the most busiest shopping days in the Little Saigon area, that if we were to have the parade on the morning of New Year's Eve, it would create a lot of impacts to the businesses when it comes to accessibility to the businesses along Bolsa. Shopping. I know usually there's flower festivals happening. People are basically getting ready for the new year, which is on the 22nd. On the 22nd. So staff was looking at essentially additional dates to not affect our business community. And so we looked at New Year's Day, which is the 22nd on a Sunday. That's the first day of the new year. And also the 28th, which is the following Saturday. The 28th is, we listed, either date. Staff will make the parade happen on either date. The 28th would have just been on a Saturday, and it would account for, costs that would be, slightly higher on a Sunday because you'd be paying Sunday rates. And that's really the main issue on why you're not having it on New Year's Day on the 22nd. However, it makes sense in an event standpoint to have it on the 22nd because it's really the first day of the new year, whereas the 28th is really no longer part of that New Year's time. But there is a cost factor that goes along with it. We feel that participation would be higher on the New Year's Day because I do know that people come in from out of town to show up to celebrate on New Year's Day with their families. And we've met them along the parade route last year as well. So people come in from out of town and they'll be celebrating with them. They most likely will leave by the end of the week, right? We've had a lot of, participants or interested participants reaching out, asking about, when the parade date would be. And there would probably be more participation on the 22nd, which means more participation, more entries, higher sponsorship because it's part of the, it's part of the feel of having the parade during the TET time. So we listed the 28th, could essentially be the 22nd as well. I know that was a concern that was brought up. And I know that, members of the community have kind of poked around too. 21st is definitely would not be ideal just because we know we're going to be impacting businesses on the 21st. And there's some, preparation that would need to be done the evening before, which would be on the Friday. And, and that would essentially impact, like street closures, access to businesses, as I said. So we're really just asking for council to just kind of weigh in a little bit more on the date. I apologize on staff's behalf that, maybe we didn't get this hammered out when we approved it before. And that's really, again, is just probably late that night.
City manager, when the previous years or anybody I know, is it typically held? Is it the Saturday before the new year, or is it? It's always been on a Saturday, correct?
No, it's actually has not always been on a Saturday. And staff can provide. I don't remember when the last time we did a Sunday parade, and I wasn't as involved in previous years. But Vanessa and Adolfo have been around, can kind of give you an idea of what days were what we've done. But it's more traditional to do it after the new year or like a day of or after. But Vanessa can jump in on the Sunday aspects.
Christine's right. It's more traditional to do it after. The last Sunday that the Lunar New Year fell on was in 2013. And we did do the parade on that day. We have done the parade in 2010. We did it New Year's, the day before the Lunar New Year. In 2006, we did it on Sunday, or not we, it was held on Sunday, the Lunar New Year. So it's definitely varied. And it has, if the Lunar New Year's on a Monday, it will go to the following Saturday. So that's kind of traditionally how it's been.
Okay.
So can we so logically, I mean, a week later to on the 28th, right? So the 28th is too long. Yeah, I think a Sunday would be a good idea. So I make a motion to do it on Sunday,
Um,
the 22nd.
I second, but before that, if I may, I just want to say, it really is a no-brainer to me. First of all, I think this, was overlooked, at the time we approved, of the tip parade, at the last meeting, the date that is. But the 21st being a New Year's Eve, so it's like and the 22nd being New Year's Day, it's like you wouldn't want to do a rose parade on New Year's Eve. So Rose Parade is going to be on New Year's Day. So, or it's going to be on New Year, on a New Year day, if it's not going to be on the 1st. So as I have indicated to staff before, I said, the 22nd being New Year's Day, and that's really ideal. Number one, it's the day, Sunday is really the day everybody has off, especially the Vietnamese. I know that they work 6 days a week, and most people get, if they have one day a week off, it would be a Sunday. So you get a better turnout. And to me, the cost is all relative, and it's not, it's going to be made up by the amount of people who would be excited to, I guess, sponsor, and also, people who coming in town and people who off and be joining or attending or being in the, watching the parade. And so I think it's all going to be relative. So I would go for the 22nd. To me, that's gotta be. The 28th is usually when they say Tet New Year's, they always refer to the 3 days of New Year. The first, Mùng Một, the second, Mùng Hai, and the third is Mùng Ba. So there are only 3 days of New Year, and it's the 28th would be like 6 days later, 6 days later. So that would just, the spirit of Tet would be gone by then. Will definitely 75% of it would be gone. So I definitely want to go for the 22nd. That would be my vote. So I second.
I have a question. I agree to this because of their confidence on the cost recovery as far as through fees and sponsorship.
Yeah.
Christina, city manager, how are we looking on that? And you said there was a cost increase for having it on Sunday. How do you feel about us being able to recover that added cost?
So the added cost really comes, so for our staff, it's not, it's the same as any overtime for our staff that would be working. But I will say that with the main cost would be the traffic control. And Adolfo can talk a little bit more about that if he needs to interject, but you pay labor rates for that type of, for that type of business. So you'd be paying essentially double time on a Sunday, on a Sunday rate. At the same time too, we haven't hit them up with a sponsorship for, potentially part or in kind of that service. And that could very well be, a potential cost recovery. In terms of an overall view right now, ever since this has been approved and there was a more favorable OC Register article about, city having a Tet parade as opposed to an outside, as opposed to an outside parade organizer. I can attest that myself, Vanessa, we've been inundated with community groups out there, as well as, the Chamber of Commerce has expressed interest, but we've been, inundated with requests on how they can participate and or sponsor. So that is, that's a positive thing. At this point, we do have a draft sponsorship deck it's pretty much a draft except for the date. And that's really, we're ready to release that. But, given that we'd like to, consider a date change, that's where, that's where it hasn't been released yet. But we've let, these other interested parties know that, hey, we're potentially changing the date. But here are some, these are what the costs would be looking like in terms of, the parade entry. And these are what some of the sponsorships amounts would look like. And so just to kind of briefly, let everybody know where we're at on that. Sponsorships, we're looking at, title sponsors, which we have limited title sponsors to 3. Those are $25,000 amounts that we're looking at for a title sponsor. Things that you would get out of that, we're going to produce a program for the TET parade, which has never been done before. So we're going to produce a program. Title sponsors would get, advertising space and maybe a feature. You would get a parade entry in which you would be positioned, somewhere closer to the beginning. You'd get a seat at the opening ceremony stage, and then, obviously social media recognition, et cetera, as a sponsor of the parade. And then as you go down to the, additional levels of sponsorship. So I believe the next level is $10,000, just doing off of memory, but $10,000. And then you would get, certain things, like you get seating in the VIP area, for example. You would get, a parade entry, et cetera. And so these are things that, some of our business community members have actually reached out to us, interested in how they can sponsor. And again, parade entries, we've had, we've had school districts, we've had, private nonprofit groups, and they're coming out of the woodworks to ask about participating. Like I just got, another message today from, this morning from someone asking, hey, how can we participate? And this is from a group from another city. So there's a lot of excitement around it that for cost recovery, there are ways for the monetary amount to recover, but then there's also the in-kind recovery, in which we haven't tapped on that yet. And we're going to get there. We just need to finalize the date, and then everything's out there.
Okay, well, thank you for that. It sounds like you're trying to think of all these different avenues that we really haven't done before. That sounds like you're thinking out of the box as far as, with the sponsorship. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that was my concern, and my concern of recovering that. We all know how big important the TET parade is in the community. So yeah, that's the reason I agreed with it. But it sounds like you're pretty confident that we'll recover that cost, correct? Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So okay, anything from Councilmember Nguyen?
No.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Lucy?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And that motion was made by Councilmember Doe, seconded by Councilmember Ho, and that is to approve the Westminster's 2023 TET Parade to Sunday, January 22nd. Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Monzo.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Lucy. Next, we have item 6.2, declaration of the results of the November 8th, 2022 general municipal election and such other matters as provided by law. Staff?
I move to approve.
I have, I'll second it. I want to take this time to congratulate Councilmember Charlie Nguyen, and your victory as the head, our new mayor for the next 4 years. So officially congratulations. Apologize if I haven't congratulated you earlier, but I wanted to be official and make it here at in public congratulations. So congratulations there, and then also I want to welcome our 2 new members to the council. So thank you and congratulations again. That's my win. Motion in a second on the floor, Lucy.
Thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor, that was a motion made by Councilmember Doe and seconded by Vice Mayor Monzo. And that is to adopt a resolution entitled "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, reciting the fact of the general municipal election held on November 8, 2022, declaring the result and such other matters as provided by law." Councilmember Doe,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor Monzo.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you.
Let me state for the record too, that in affirming that's affirming that the ordinance concerning Measure Y was adopted by a vote of the people by more than a majority vote. So that will now go into effect.
All right, thank you, City Attorney. Next, we don't have any commission and committee items. Next, we have comments from City Council.
Yeah, I'd like to say a few words. I guess this is it's going to be my last council meeting, and I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate Councilman Charlie Nguyen. You are the mayor-elect of the city, and Nam Quan Nguyen and Amy Fan West, who are newly elected council member. You know, we might disagree on a lot of things, but you know, the people have been spoken. They choose their elected officials, and they're fair and square. So I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate the newly elected officials, and I just want to thank city staffs here and the city council that I have an opportunity to serve the people in the past 4 years. What an interesting 4 years. You know, I enjoy every moment of it. It was tough, it was challenging, it was fun, and at the same time, it's so rewarding for me, you know, to have an opportunity to be elected and to serve. It's not how many people have a chance to do that. I did, and I have nothing but gratitude. And I just want to thank the people of Westminster for trusting me and elected me in 2018. As well as all my member of the community has been actively involved in the city council meeting, following the council meetings, taking their busy schedule and come to the city council and spoke, you know, address the council and spoke their minds. And you know what, to me, is I always promoting, you had to question, criticize the government to keep the government honest, and I do believe in that. And I think, and I just want to just appreciate what the community have contributed to this council, and as well as participation. And a strong community is a informed community. So, just want to make it short and sweet. Thank you all. It's just a pleasure to serve. I'm not a career politician. I came in to do what I have to do, and I did what I did. And just I think it's time for me the universe have planned for me. So I'm going to move on and do some other things that I have planned and intended to do in my life. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilmember Doe. Anybody else?
Well, being that this is the last, I was taken aback a little bit. Didn't realize that this is Councilmember Doe's last meeting. Is it really?
Well,
Yeah, I would tell them that the new elected council are going to take their posts next meeting.
No, but I
So,
think he'll be on.
so he'll be, so
Yeah.
certifying the results. Yeah. So certifying the results makes it his last meeting. So he won't be taking his post, but he will be there on Wednesday for the proper send off. So
we could make our speech at that time.
yes.
Proper time?
Yes, he is on the agenda as recognition of outgoing council member, and he will get a proper send off, not at a special meeting at 1 p.m. or noon, but it's 1 now.
All right, so I will say improper send off. I would say that according to Councilmember Doe's statement that the election was fair and square, but contrary, I think it was not fair and not square at all. So it wasn't fair to you. And it's just, when there's so many, basically, I just think that I hope one day elections will be reformed where, the people who want so badly to win don't go and, shall I say, use the media, as pawns to get their, I guess, to deviate from the truth or to tell lies to get where they need to get or to get elected. So no, it wasn't fair and square. So I really, that's I wanted to correct you on that, and that's just my feeling, and I think a lot of people think that way too. But I do urge that everybody get together and support the new council no matter what. We do need to move forward, and I am very concerned for the city, and that was the reason I ran. It was just very unfortunate that we have another 4 years or another council that may not be able to do good for our city. So that's how I feel, and I just so it's really not a send off yet, and I will do my little speech on the 14th. Thank you.
Member Nguyen?
Yes, I take this opportunity to thank you all for those people who vote for me or don't vote for me, and I appreciate the and thank you for the time that Councilmember Do put his effort into making this community better, for his service, for the 4 years of his service. It was, we have disagreement here and there, but we had time that we worked together to make a betterment for this city. So I appreciate your service for the last 4 years, and thank you for your kind comments there, and wish you a lot of luck, in the near future, wherever your decision or your wishes. I want to thank you, Vice Mayor Manzo, for your kind words also. We've been working together great, and I'm looking forward to working with you and also staff, again, for the betterment of the city. That's my goal, and I will continue to do so. And I'm looking forward to work with the new councils, for the same purpose. So again, I am excited to move in for the next adventure, and then we'll work with all of you. Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad, Councilmember Do, you're gonna. I was worried about this. This is going to be the last time we saw you, but I'm glad you're going to be at our next meeting, because you need the proper send off and the proper recognition of I feel, and I'm not saying this just because this is what elected officials are supposed to say, but I personally feel that I gained a new friend. There's times that we didn't agree on certain things, but for the most part, I've told you, I feel you and I have a lot in common, and I'm hoping that we stay in contact. I can't wait to see you on next council meeting and shake your hand and say thank you for everything you've done. A lot of folks may not agree with what I say, but I do feel that you've done a lot of good in the 4 years that you've been with us and representing the city. Like you said, an informed community is a great community, a thriving community, and you've done a really good job of making sure people pay attention to what's going on in our community. So thank you for that. And again, I want to give you the proper send off our next meeting. So thank you. And I just thank you, staff, and okay to see you guys there. I want to adjourn this meeting to our next regular meeting, which will be held on Wednesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Thank you all. Good afternoon.